Hello, co-op students. It's Holly Clan, co-op coordinator with the co-op program, and I'm going to show you some neat formatting tips for your resume. Some of these might be known to you already, but we see a lot of times that students could really benefit from these tips. So if you only get one or two takeaways from this, I think you'll find it really helpful nonetheless. So first of all, here we have a sample resume. So it's formatted in the way that you'd want it to look like. So I'll go over some formatting tips and then show you some common mistakes that I want you to avoid. So first of all, let's start with the easy. If you justify your header, it can look a lot more professional, so you can play around with that. And you can see here that if you click it in the middle, it has a certain effect. And if you click it to the left, it has a certain effect. So you can definitely play around with that. As you can see, this white space is very large. So don't forget to use the ruler to change it how you see fit. As you can see, this person has not used the header section above to put their header. They put it in the body of the email. You can choose what you'd like, but the reason for that is that sometimes screening programs for resume collection, I guess what I would say is softwares, don't always catch the header. So that's why it's sometimes a nice strategy to put it in the body of the email. But if you want to use the header, that's just fine. For most co-op jobs, they always come through. It's just if you're putting through to a big organization that has to use software because of the mass amount of applications that they receive. Another thing that I see a lot is the use of lines to separate your categories on your resume. So what you don't want to do is this, and I see this a lot. So someone might say insert shape, line, and then they try to draw a line somewhere they want it. So let's just put it here, for example. Okay, so it's sometimes really hard to make it straight. I see some crooked lines. But then another thing is, as you notice, if I change my margins, I have to change the lines, each and every one of them. That's time consuming and it makes it look sloppy, and it's very difficult to get the line to be the same length each time. So what this person's actually done is they haven't drawn any lines. As you can see, I can't click my cursor here. It's because they've used the border function. So that's a better way to put in a line into your resume. So I'll show you here. I'll put the cursor here and I'll choose bottom line, and there it's drawn for me. And when I change my margins, it changes with it. So what this person has done is they've just chosen a top and a bottom border, whatever they wanted according to this selection. So that's a great way to use borders to have nice looking sections of your resume. Another common mistake, and I did this for far too long in my career, is to use a space to move your dates. So it might look something like this. You're typing it out, and then to justify it to the right side of your resume, you just hit space bar. And you wait. Oh, went back on the next line. Okay, so you might think, okay, well, what's wrong with that? Well, a couple things. If you change your borders, you have to change every single one of your dates. That's time consuming. Might be hard to catch everything. Another thing is if the person wants to see your formatting skills and you submitted it via Word, I can actually click on the show formatting, and you can see by these dots that the person used white space, space bar. So if you're trying to tell the person reading your resume that you're excellent with Microsoft Word, but then you use space bar for here, they might question your skills. So we'll get rid of that so it's not so messy. So here's what you do. You go up to this corner here, this tab feature, and you click it until it's a backwards L. If you see any up here, you can drag and drop them down to get rid of them. So I'll show you that first. So let's say someone put something there before, you don't know what it's for, just get rid of it. So starting fresh, click it until it has the left justified L, and then you put it on the ruler where you want it to be. And don't worry, if you don't like the spot, you can actually move it back and forth. So that's fine. So I'm going to put it to the end of where I've justified my, my paragraph. Place the cursor was placed in front of the date, and now I'm going to hit the tab button. As you can see, it's now brought the date all the way to the side, and bonus, oh, no, that's a lie. When I change this, I can actually use the tab to just slide all my dates back instead of using, instead of redoing it all over again. So that's really handy. So as you can see, I want it back there, so I'll just point my cursor on the L and drag it over to where I want it. Okay, so another thing that you can do is you can use these margins here to create white space in your resume, or let's say you accidentally go over by one line on one page. And sometimes you'd be surprised at how tweaking it just a little bit might save you some room. Just make sure it always looks visually appealing and that it's even on both sides. So here's some common mistakes that I see. So let's just start here. One thing that I see often is bullets separated on 2 pages. And then it might say continued on next page. Do whatever you can to get all the bullets onto one page instead of separating them. It always looks better. You don't need to put a full header on both parts of your resume, but it might be a nice touch to put your name on the second page so that if your resume was printed for any reason and the pages get separated, they can find it. So please just use this as an example. Obviously, I would make the same size and add my resume, add my email and phone number here as well. But it's just an example of something that you can do, so I won't finish typing that out. Another common mistake that I see is inconsistencies. Inconsistencies everywhere. So there's one here actually. You can choose to use a period at the end of your sentences if you wish. You don't have to, but whatever you choose, please be consistent. As you can see, this person does not have one here, but they have one here. Either way, make it the same throughout. Here's another thing that I see a lot. The person has written out the name of the date here, but used maybe the numerical version here. So I see a lot of inconsistencies that way. So just make sure that you're always the same format when you're doing date. Or maybe one is abbreviated, AUG, and then the other one is written out as September. So just spell them all out if you're going to spell them out, or abbreviate all of them if you're going to abbreviate all of them. But we recommend spelling out because it looks more professional. Another tip is, although some people might like the look of the numerical version of the date here, when you're looking through a lot of resumes, it makes you have to think. Don't make the person think, just write the month. It's a lot easier when your eyes are getting tired. Always have 3 to 5 bullets per job that you had, and you're going to pay the most attention to the most recent job that you had. Ensure it's always in reverse chronological order, so your current or most recent job first, going back down. Okay, and then yeah, just make sure that you're consistent. Sometimes I see bullets like one of them is a different style, or maybe it's a circle, but it's a smaller circle. So just be consistent. That's the main thing that you have to remember. Okay, I hope you find those tips useful. And if you follow them, you'll have a much nicer, cleaner looking resume that makes it definitely look like you have more attention to detail.